What is going on, guys? Finally back in the garage. I got some time off from work. I was able to get all the cars put back in the garage for winter storage because that's how much time has went by. Winter is back upon us. I had a really busy season. It's time to get back on this bird a bit more consistently. Now, I have been tinkering with it here and there. Nothing major, just some prep work. You can see right there, I got an inner rocker ready to go on, and that's probably what we're gonna be doing today. I'll show you guys what I've done. Now, I got the entire inside of that rocker panel prepped. I blew some paint in there. Yes, it's red, it's Rust-Oleum. It's what I had laying around. I figured any paint is better than no paint on the inside of that rocker. Now, you know these cars can't bear steel from the factory. In all those crevices along the backside, I finally trimmed a little bit of steel left over from the floor. You can kind of see the remnants of it right there. I got the inside of this rocker painted different color. I know that is actually some POR 15 that I had left over from my truck. I did the frame underneath there. That was a whole different ordeal. I'm gonna get into doing this rocker today. Try and get closer to getting floor in this bad boy. I picked up some parts that I found on Marketplace, so it kind of lit the flame again, you can say. All right, so I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I did have the rocker mocked up and screwed into place on the car before. Now, I wasn't exactly happy with it, and I'm probably being a little too OCD, but it was like a 16th too far back. I wasn't getting a nice tight gap here on the kickboard, so I wasn't getting a nice tight fit here. So I decided to take it off and we're gonna start from scratch. So pretty much what I want to do is push this thing forward and kind of get it into place. Now, I did have my tools around, some vice grips, kind of get us a rough fit here. Now, those parts that I picked up that I mentioned, I mean, they're all used. I haven't really verified that they're all in working order, but I was able to pick up a set of power window regulators with the motors and pretty much like 80% of the wiring, which I thought was pretty cool. I wasn't really looking for it. I fell into a deal where it was an exhaust system and the front air baffle. And that's mainly what I wanted, but it was an all or nothing deal. I pretty much had to buy all the parts he had or I couldn't buy any. I was unaware of the regulators at first, but I guess it was a happy little surprise. But I ended up walking out with a set of power window regulators with the motors and 80% of the wiring. As I said, I got my air baffle, the exhaust system, which is a Flowmaster. I believe it's an American Thunder series. It's brand new. It's never been installed. I mean, it's been sitting for years. It's definitely got surface rust on it. I got that. Got a set of bird glass for the doors. Complete glass, I might say. I got the quarter glass as well. Got a set of 350 Pontiac heads, which I honestly don't care for. But like I said, it was all or nothing deal. A drive shaft, steering column with the deluxe steering wheel. In the ad, it didn't have the horn button was missing in the ad. I decided to ask if he had it, and turns out he did. So luckily, I was able to get that. So I got the complete deluxe steering wheel backup, because you guys know this car does have a deluxe wheel itself. I do plan on restoring both of them. One of them is pretty much gonna be like a learning curve and use it to practice on. But I do want to get them both restored. Let's see, now that's definitely fitting better. That I slid it forward some, a little over a 16th forward. I'm gonna have to get a jack and jack up this bottom lip and then vice grip that into place. So let me get that really quick. Actually, let's see if I can slide this through. Too far down. Just wanted it a little bit lower, but try and get this up higher. There we go. Nice and flush. Let's get a vice grip in there, and then I'm gonna get a screw. Put another one over here. These screws are getting extremely dull on me. Gotta get this part up a bit here. I'm gonna grab my bottle jack. All right, guys, so I'm happy with the way this is fitting now. I got a nice tight gap up here, which was my issue in the first place. You can see I'm just using the vice grips to hold the top end of this in place. I didn't screw it in like I did before. I put a couple in here, but I just pulled them out. Vice grips are doing what they need to do. I put them here at the bottom though, because the bottom does want to spring down on me. I am going to weld a couple spots down here, but I'm not going to get crazy because when I do the floor pan, I'm just going to go through all the layers and get it at once. But I want to put a couple to keep the bottom of this rocker from springing down. Anyways, like I said, I'm happy with the fitment. You can see there, it's sitting just a tad lower than this outer rocker lip on the top, and that's about what the factory was. The bottom was, honestly, I can't remember what the bottom was, but I made it flush. There's a little spot here where it hangs a little bit lower, but you know what? I'm not stressing over it. My drain window is good. It's lower than the actual outer rocker, and the bevels lead towards the hole where it needs to be. Anyways, let's get this sucker burned in. All right, guys, so I'm gonna do my best to keep my fat head out the way here. I'm gonna start off probably about right here. I got these plug weld pliers. I'm gonna try and use these since I didn't screw it. They're not really working out that great, and I think it's because it's the lip. That's fine. We'll grab a set of vice grips here. I'll go for this one and go side by side. Pull it in nice and tight. And get my tiny little wire brush I got. Clean out my spot weld. All right, that looks perfect. Check out my penetration really quick. It's got good penetration, but I would like to see more, so I'm gonna actually sit a little bit longer, take a little more time in one spot, because I got the voltage up. This one's actually nice and tight all on its own. And we are all burned in out. I'm not hiding my welds. You can see there's definitely some booger welds on there, but there is penetration. I got the stitch right there, just like the factory. That came out good at least, so I don't got to dress that. Some welds came out good, most didn't, but there is penetration, like I said. Now I got the long process of dressing all the welds. So I'm just gonna knock that out real quick. I'll show you guys the final result. Then we're gonna have to move on, and I gotta do a little repair right there on that inner wheelhouse. Now all the welds have been ground and dressed on this inner rocker. Now, I didn't get too crazy. I did a little there, but towards the front, you can still see them present. Lower spots that I welded and grind, I'm just gonna spray a little weld through primer on. For the top ones, I'm gonna spread a thin coat of Oswald on to keep it from flash rusting. I did that with the toe boards, and you can see they've been like that for months, and they're perfect. No rust yet, unfortunately. But as I told you guys earlier, I wanna come in here now and work on this inner wheelhouse. Now I did cut this outer back here so I can treat the front of this rocker brace, but you can see there we got a nice little rot hole. Now this side ain't that bad. The driver's side is far worse. This is going to be relatively simple. I'm going to stay down here because this area there gets, you know, there's some curves going on. Down here it's just a flat. So I'm going to cut straight across just like that, and it should be relatively simple. Just a 90-degree bend, you know, make the curves that we need here, drill out my hole for my plug, and we're good. So let's get into that right now. You see my line there faintly? That's kind of the route I'm going to take. It's just above the rocker on the inside, so it should go right through. And then I'm going to come here I'm gonna come at an angle down. I'm gonna try not to cut into the new rocker. Alright, so we got our piece here. We're going to straighten this out. This is going to be our template. Alright, so here's our piece we cut off. Like I said, this is our template now. So let's find a piece of scrap metal. See, I have this left over from the toe board. I think that's going to be perfect. So let's get our snips and let's clean this up a bit. Here we are, holes lining up. Now we'll take this over to the metal brake, put a bend in it. I picked this up off Marketplace, pretty cheap. I actually got 2 of them. Show you the other one. It's a Harbor Freight one. 300 bucks. This one's been modified though to kind of work on heavier steel. Not sure. It looks like it got bent in the center. This one ain't too bad. This is like a benchtop model with a homemade stand on it. But this one is made in the USA, so it's kind of why I kind of stuck with this one. It's Bendito is the name brand. Like I said, it's not the greatest, but gets the job done. There you have it. All right, let's see what we're looking like. Rough fit. Looking good. We got to grind some edges, of course. Now, got to hammer and dolly these edges a bit, clean them up, get it all coated up with some weld-through primer. Same here. Clean this up, get the backside sprayed with some weld-through primer. Get a couple holes drilled for some spot welds, and we'll get this burnt right in. What was the next day? I decided to treat everything with some Osvo really quick. You can kind of see where it turned. Right there, you can see where it turned black because of the rust that I didn't get with the wire wheel and the grinder. Now we pretty much got everything set. There's our patch. The backside has been hit with weld-through primer. Now I'm gonna hit the these flanges really quick right here. If I can. Now we'll let that dry. Let's get this patch in place. Grab a set of vice grips, might need them. Now, I did drill a couple holes for a few spot welds. Really don't have anything to clamp to at the current time, so I'm gonna tack it in place. The idea right now is I'm gonna line up this corner where I want it, and then I'll manipulate the metal. Alright, check that out. I'm happy with the way that came out. I'm happy with the shape. It follows. It almost looks like, you know, it was meant to be there. But it looks pretty good. Came out pretty smooth. Probably a quick coat of, you know, some reinforced filler. Not necessary, but I'm probably going to do it anyways. It is a wheelhouse, so no one ever pay attention. There's the penetration. I did get my grinder. I tried to clean it up a bit. It's in a tight area, but I'm not too concerned because that whole spot gets seam sealed, so I get covered up. Now, as for this inner quarter, I'm still undecided on whether I'm going to patch it or buy it. I'm going to look at it a bit more, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on to the other side, and I'm going to get that other rocker put in just so it's not in the way anymore. And that's it for this one. We are now a bit more closer to being done. We got a couple things done. Inner rocker, the inner wheelhouse patch on the front side is done. Now I'm gonna move on and knock that other rocker out. I'm not gonna bother filming it. I'm not gonna show you guys a repeat, but I'll probably show you guys the inner quarter patch that I got. I do have a replacement panel for the driver's side. As stated earlier, I'm undecided on what I'm gonna do with the passenger side, whether I'm gonna repair or replace. I'm going to think about that while I deal with the driver's side. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to keep chipping away at the old bird. And I'll see you guys on the next one.